एरर, यहां पे टर्म लगा हुआ है स्टैंडर्ड एरर, बट द टर्म एरर का मतलब ये ऐसा मत समझिए कि ये कोई त्रुटि है, इसका नाम दिया गया त्रुटि। स्टैंडर्ड एरर इसको बोला गया, बट इट इज नॉट ए मैथमेटिकल एरर, ये मैथमेटिकल एरर नहीं है। इट रिप्रेजेंट्स द चांस ऑफ सैंपलिंग फ्लक्चुएशन। ये क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है? चांस ऑफ सैंपलिंग फ्लक्चुएशन। सपोज, जैसा कि हमने आपको अभी बतलाया कि सपोज ए पॉपुलेशन इज, वेरिएबिलिटी ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन इज डिफर फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर, that is normally distributed. It is the normally distributed. And you all or any 5 of you are assigned to do or to collect the sample from the same population but from different places. Okay? One person collected data from here. One person collected data from here, one from here, one from here, one from here, and one from here. It represents the degree of variability. Degree of variability. It represents the degree of variability. And here it represents the number, that means the frequency. Okay? Here the a population, the graph represents that it is the normally, the variable which we are going to study is in normal condition. That means it present in the evolutionary equilibrium state. Then all 6 samples collected from the same population, but it is the sample 1, it is the sample 2, it is sample 3, it is sample 4, it is sample 5, it is sample 6. These 6 samples. And if we calculate or analyze the graphical representation of the mean, that means it represents the mean from midpoint here. This one. This represents the mean point here, mean value. This represents the mean point here. This represents the mean point here. This represents the mean point here. And this represents the mean point here. That means the x1, x bar 1, x bar 2, x bar 3, x bar 4, x bar 5, and x bar 6. That means the mean value of all the 6 samples are different. ठीक है? Mean value of all the 6 samples are different. You again calculated the standard deviation. You calculated the standard deviation from the data available in the sample. From the data available in the sample. That means it is the 95% range. 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 And it is the 95% range. That means it is the SD1, SD2, SD3, SD4, SD5, and SD6. Or in another way, it is represented that it is the sigma 1, it is the sigma 2, it is the sigma 3, it is the sigma 4, it is the sigma 5, it is the sigma 6. That means the mean as well as the standard deviation are different, are calculated or represented different from all these 6 samples. Okay? And when we observe superficially, then you consider that all 6 samples are different. But actually, all 6 samples are collected from the different variables regions, variability regions of the same population. no one is new. No one is new. That means it is necessary to determine the standard error of the sample, to calculate the range of variability. Range of variability or a range of dispersion in term of population. In term of population. That means we have two ways to calculate the standard error. We have two ways to calculate the standard error. First, when we have mean values of different samples, when we have mean values of different samples. Second, we have one sample, only one sample. We have only one sample. इसका मतलब आप लोगों को टी टेस्ट और जेड टेस्ट में भी प्रॉब्लम हुआ होगा, पहले जो हम पढ़ाए होंगे. जब यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम है तो वहाँ भी प्रॉब्लम हुआ होगा, या अभी भी क्लियर नहीं हो रहा होगा. ये पढ़ाने के बाद फिर उसको यूट्यूब पे देख लीजिएगा. When we have x means value of the different samples, that means the standard error actually represents root mean square deviation of sample means. It is the actual definition. Standard error actually represents root mean square deviations of root mean square deviation is, what is it? ये क्या है? रूट मीन स्क्वायर डिवीजन है क्या? इट इज द, अभी तो बदला रहे, इट इज द स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन. यही तो है रूट मीन स्क्वायर डेविएशन. जो मीन डेविएशन था उसको आप क्या कर देते हैं? रूट मीन. दैट इज द मैथमेटिकल टर्म ऑफ द स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन. दैट इज द रूट मीन स्क्वायर डेविएशन. दैट इज द स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन. इट इज द स्टैंडर्ड deviation, root mean square deviation of sample means. किसका है ये? sample means का है. And in this condition the population mean is represented by mu. The population mean is represented by mu. That means I1 n x bar I minus mu divided by n root under. It is the SEM, root mean standard error of means. Clear? It is the standard deviation. किसका हुआ ये? Standard deviation of mean. Standard deviation of mean. Or in other way, symbolically, it is also represented as standard error of mean. Likely ऐसा भी आप इसको लिख सकते हैं. That is summation I1 n xi mean minus mu square divided by n. That is the standard error of means. When we have the mean value of different samples derived from the same population. Clear? कोई दिक्कत नहीं. बट समटाइम्स वी हैव ओनली वन सैंपल. अगर आप गए तो यहाँ पे कोई एक ही सैंपल आप लेके आइएगा. 20 सैंपल तो लेके आए, प्रोजेक्ट में गए आप एक सैंपल लेके आ गए. ठीक है. एंड इन दिस कंडीशन द SEM is SD root under N. Standard deviation of sample is calculated here, and then it is divided by root under N. It represents the standard error. Okay. Hence, ACM is represented the deviations of sample means. Deviations of sample means derived from any population. It provides basis for the test statistics, which we were discussed in my number of earlier classes. Clear? And here, when you use the mean plus minus 1.96 SCM or standard error of mean, it represents 95% confidence interval of the population. It represents 95% confidence interval of population. And that 95% confidence interval derived from the standard error of means provide 5% chance for the test of statistics. Clear? ये हम लोग पहले डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, इसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं. एंड नाउ ऐसा हम अब सोच रहे हैं कि आप लोग को दोनों चीज समझ में आ गई. व्हाट इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन द स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन ऑफ मीन एंड व्हाट इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन द SESD एंड SEM. Okay.